everyone, we are back. Welcome Roomlanders to another episode in our full Colossal playthrough. We are playing through all of the books, all of the content, even on Patreon. I am Nate, aka the Hero Nate, a fellow Roomlander just like you, and this is actually my second time recording this because the first time, computer just straight crashed, and I was really mad at my laptop. So now I have to do this again, but that's okay. What I am going to do is get you up to speed on where we left off, and then we will continue our play from there. So let's go ahead and go up, and we will start from where we left off, all right? So remember, we were here in a clove after being taken away by some gargoyles and fighting off a rook that we encountered with a member of the Black Army who destroyed our home. Now we are tasked to find the dragon rook, to defeat it, gain its power, and potentially beat the Dark Army from spreading their plagues, their corruption, their destruction across the world of Colostle. Hopefully we do not die or our journey is over and our Colossal run will be finished. We modified the game by making everything stronger, by giving it a modifier of +1 or +2 combat score against our own. So let's continue. Alright? Let us continue. We did a exploration phase after resting from being chased by a medium rook and a massive rook. We found a cave. So I'm gonna read through this really quick, and then I'll show you how far we got before my computer actually crashed. So, as dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight filtered into the alcove, gently waking Nate from his slumber. He felt refreshed and more determined than ever. He extinguished the campfire, packed his belongings, and took a deep breath on the crisp morning air. Nate knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but he also knew that he was not alone. Armed with his skills, his heirlooms, and his unyielding resolve, he was ready to continue his quest to uncover the secrets of Parapet and stop the Black Army. Alright, so we did an exploration phase, and in that, we got a 10 of hearts, a 10 of spades, and an 8 of spades. Alright, so we're gonna read what took place. Episode 3, everyone. Here we go. After leaving the safety of the rocky alcove, Nate set out once more into the Roomlands, guided by the golden compass he had found. The compass needle pointed steadily in one direction, and Nate followed it with determination. The terrain gradually changed from rocky outcrops to a more open landscape until he found himself walking along a close line. The air was filled with salty scent of the sea, and the gentle sounds of waves provided a calming backdrop to his journey. In the distance, Nate saw a thriving city. The sight filled him with excitement. He quickened his pace, eager to reach the city and recharge among new people. The city's towering buildings, constructed from rook parts, glimmered in the sunlight, promising advanced technology, culture, and commerce. As Nate approached the outskirts of the city, he came across a small settlement. The inhabitants, though welcoming, were guarded. They informed Nate that the entry into the city was not freely given. Only those deemed worthy by the settlement could pass through the gates into the thriving metropolis. The settler's leader explained that to prove his worth, Nate must cross the sea and retrieve a lost item from one of the islands. The item had been stolen by one of their prisoners who had escaped and taken refuge on the island. This prisoner, now a rogue and guardian of the stolen item, was known to be dangerous and cunning. Nate understood the gravity of the task. If he wanted to enter the city, he had to accept the challenge. His resolve was strong, and he knew that overcoming this trial would bring him closer to his ultimate goal. So, what I did was, because GPT created a story of me actually conquering this task, I told it that I'm going to do exploration phases out on the sea now, which is our new area. And I'll show you here. See, I'm going to play when we first entered the ocean. Please be on standby and I will tell you how the story unfolds. And I told it again, just to be clear, even though you generate a story of events that has me conquering the rogue and entering the city, we're going back in time and I will tell you how that all played out. So this way, we're still playing the game and interacting with the game bit by bit. Because even though I want GBT to be my co-captain here as we're generating this epic tale of our adventurer, I don't want it to do all the legwork. I want to input my ideas as well. So, I do have some cards here from when my game actually crashed, and I'm going to input that into GPT to let you know our first exploration phase out on the ocean. It was an 8 of spades. This is not a spade, this is a diamond. It was a king of spades, then an ace of clubs, and for that prompt it said to check the weather, which was a 10. So the weather was lightning. Here is our prompt table here. Again, here's our ocean encounter table. The last time before we actually crashed, I read through some of the ocean backstory of the Colostle, and it talks about how the oceans can lead through a door into another room, or it can lead down a corridor, or the oceans can hit smack dab on a wall. And there's many things inside the ocean, from different types of rooks to abandoned technology to ruins to islands. Many things can be found. So with that being said, I'm going to enter into prompts, and I'm going to maybe add a couple bits of what I want the story to be for GPT to go ahead and spit it out. All right. Okay, I input the prompts into GPT of what we got. Now let's read about our story to see how it all unfolds. So it says, setting out across the sea. Nate set out across the calm sea, following the direction of the golden compass. However, the weather quickly took a turn for the worse. Forks of lightning lit up the sky, and the once peaceful sea churned with malice. The small boat was tossed by the waves, and Nate struggled to keep it steady as he made his way toward the distant island. Also, I wanted to show you guys, I generated another prompt here of the city and the settlement here as we are walking along this coastline. So in a minute here, I'm going to generate another image so we can actually see how things are looking on the ocean front. So we're going to do that right now by copying this, okay, and putting it here. Okay. Create an image of Nate in the ocean on a small boat fighting against the waves. Here is a description of the image. And then after that, we'll always put our description in of Nate. Here is how Nate looks. And all we have to do is just copy here. We always want to let it know how Nate looks so we can get a consistent image. All right. All right. Alrighty, here we are, everyone. Let's go ahead and see what we get. Oh, this time again, I didn't tell it to do pixel art. So let's see if it'll actually consistently do the pixel art, or if it will do something else. All right. So we'll keep reading, and we'll see what comes up. Here we go. I like this. Look at my flaming sword. I love my flaming sword. This is awesome right here. This is why we play. We go on our journey, we get the cool images. This is a pretty small boat here. Alright, let's keep going. Let me just scroll that up so you can see very well. As Nate navigated through the storm, he passed over shallow waters with ruins visible beneath the surface. Ancient structures and statues lay just below the churning waters. Under normal circumstances, he would have dropped anchor to investigate, but the violent storm made it impossible. He could only catch glimpses of the mysterious ruins as the lightning illuminated the depths. So that was actually, our 8 of diamonds here. It says shallow waters and underwater ruins, but because we're in a lightning storm, the waters are too bad for us to explore. Let's keep going. Suddenly, a massive rook emerged from the stormy seas. Its immense form loomed over Nate's small boat, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. The rook, seemingly powered by the storm, lashed out with immense force. Nate's heart pounded as he realized the danger he was in. Using all his agility and skill, Nate maneuvered the boat desperately, avoiding the rook's attacks. The storm provided both a challenge and an opportunity. He used the chaos of the churning sea and the blinding light to his advantage. Slipping past the rook's grasp, with the combination of quick thinking and sheer luck, Nate managed to flee the encounter, leaving the massive rook behind in the storm. Exhausted but unteared, Nate continued his journey until he spotted a single castle tower sticking up out of the water. Waves splashed around its base, where it connected with the sea. The golden compass pointed toward the tower, indicating that his goal lay within. Nate carefully navigated his boat to the tower. There, he found a doorway accessible from the height of the sea. As he looked down in the interior, he was stunned to see that the tower extended deep underwater into an airtight complex. This storm raged above, but inside the tower, it was eerily calm and dry. Nate secured his boat and cautiously entered the doorway. The interior of the tower was well preserved with steps leading down to the depths. The architecture was intricate and ancient, hinting at a long-lost civilization. As he descended, the sound of the storm faded, replaced by the quiet hum of the underwater complex. So that was our exploration phase for the ocean. We can see now how are we going to maneuver, because remember, we want to find this lost item and this road. We're going to have to fight this guy to get this item back. Whatever it may be, we don't even know. They said we will know. That's what the village chief told us. We will know what the item is once we encounter the rogue, and we must get it back. I'm going to take our cards here, and I'm going to put them into the discard pile. What would you like Nate to do next inside the underwater complex? Here are some options. We can explore the complex. We can search for the rogue. We can investigate the architecture. Please choose your course of action. This is very interesting because now, what I like about this, we can kind of free play without drawing cards. This will be the beautiful role-playing aspect. This is where a lot of the creativity comes in before we start pulling cards again. So that's super cool. And we can brainstorm here, because you probably should rest off of the notion that we just had to battle through this storm. We just dodged this massive rook that could have been a crazy encounter, because it's going to have a combat score of 6 or 7, which we probably could have suffered some massive wounds that would have been really, really bad for us. So I'm thinking here it's probably best right now to go ahead and 5 or explore the complex. And I assume as we're walking through this giant complex that's underwater, we can go ahead and rejuvenate our energy. So I'm going to say, let's explore this complex, and I will use my fire rookstone to create a light source. I spelled source wrong. illuminate my surroundings. Please describe to me how this underwater complex looks. There we go. From there we can generate an image. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So let's go ahead and take a look, and then we'll come across another image. As Nate descended into the underwater complex, he used his fire rookstone to create a light source. The magical flame cast a warm, steady glow, illuminating his surroundings and allowing him to see the details of this mysterious place. The stairs led down into a grand hallway, the walls of which were adorned with intricate carvings and murals depicting scenes of ancient life and mythology. The architecture was impressive, with high, vaulted ceilings supported by ornate columns. Despite being underwater, the complex was completely dry, a testament to the advanced engineering of the builders. The grand hallway was spacious, with alcoves on either side that housed statues of humanoid figures, each one unique and exquisitely detailed. Some statues held weapons, others held scrolls or tools, suggesting a society with rich culture and diverse professions. Alright, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to generate an image. Alright, create an image of this grand underwater complex. Nate is exploring. Here is the description. And then we'll go ahead and paste here. Okay. And then we will go ahead and do and I think it's really cool it's using this art style. I love it. I love it. Thank you again, General Ace, for giving me this tip on how to create the consistent images in GPT. Super cool, man. Super cool. Alright, and we're gonna paste here. And go ahead and generate. So while this is generating, we'll go ahead and continue to read about the underwater complex, okay? It says, oh, well, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. Here, let me go ahead and scroll that down. I have to figure out how I can get it to create more scaled images so we can kind of see some zoomed out images where our character is not so big, taking up the entire picture, where we can see more of our setting. So off camera, I'll play with that, and when I crack that code, then we'll be able to generate those grander images, because the Colostle is huge. The Colostle is huge, so I like to get a sense of that scale. Okay, so it says the murals along the walls told stories of great battles, heroic deeds, and everyday life. One mural depicted a massive rook being constructed, hinting at the ancient civilization's technological prowess. Another showed a majestic city, possibly parapet, with spires reaching towards the skies and flying creatures soaring above. The hallway branched off into several directions, each path leading to different parts of the complex. Heavy, airtight doors marked the entrance to these pathways, their mechanism still functional despite the passage of time. Nate's firelight flickered off the metal surfaces, casting long shadows that danced on the walls. The air inside the complex was cool and slightly musty, carrying the faint scent of the sea. The silence was almost oppressive, broken only by the occasional creak of the structure as it settled. Nate could hear his own footsteps echoing softly as he walked, heightened his sense of isolation and alertness. Wow, this underwater complex is absolutely insane, and I'm thinking that maybe we should use some of the dungeon prompts from the newest book to see some of the things we can explore in here. We can't get creative ourselves, so I'll think about that some more as we are reading. But who knows where we can find it here? Who knows? Let's keep going. Peering into some of the side rooms, Nate found what appeared to be living quarters with ancient furniture still intact but covered in dust. Other chambers contained workshops filled with strange, rusted tools and devices. One room held shelves of books and scrolls, their pages brittle and faded but still legible in places. Following the main hall, they eventually reached a large central chamber. The ceiling here was domed with a large circular mosaic in the center of the floor. The mosaic depicted a massive rook, surrounded by smaller figures that seemed to be worshipping or controlling it. This central chamber appeared to be a place of great significance, possibly a gathering or ritual space. It's showing our next steps here. We can explore the central chamber, we can explore the side rooms, or we can search for the rogue. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our notepad here, and we want to add this to a significant place. That's what we will do. Places of significance. Giant underwater complex. One exploration phase away from the settlements and city on the coast. So I still haven't quite figured how we are going to incorporate our incarnate here, because we did get whisked away by gargoyles. So hopefully I'm able to figure that out, or we might not use it at all, which is fine. But maps are pretty important in any type of storytelling. So let's think here, because now we don't know if this rogue is here. Maybe he is, or maybe he isn't. Let's ask the oracle. Okay. Question for the oracle. Is there signs that the rogue is here, or should we leave? See what the oracle says, because maybe there are some signs. It says, let's consult the oracle to determine whether there are signs that the rogue is present, or if it would be best to leave. Please draw a card to reveal the answer. It says a red card. There are clear signs that the oracle is present, and you should proceed cautiously. Black card. There are no signs of the rogue, suggesting it might be best to leave. Alright, let's go ahead and draw a card, and let's see what we should do. This is where we can get some clear direction and not waste our time aimlessly exploring, even though we could find some cool stuff, but we really want to get into the city. So let's see. I'll let you all see first what we got here, and I will now take a look. Oh, it's a red card. So that means the rogue has and is here in this underwater complex. I drew a red card. So, as Nate carefully explored the central caverns, he began to notice subtle signs that someone had been here recently. The dust on the floor was disturbed, and there were faint footsteps leading towards one of the side passages. Some of the ancient tools and devices in the workshop had been moved, and a few were missing altogether. A faint smell of smoke lingered in the air, suggesting that a fire had been lit not too long ago. So, okay, let's keep reading. I just wanted to kind of like skim here really quick to see if it had, pushed the story super duper far. but it didn't, which is great. Following the footprints, Nate moved cautiously down one of the side passages. The fire from his rookstone cast flickering shadows on the wall, making it easier to see the tracks. The footprints seemed to lead deeper into the complex, towards an area that was likely used for storage or more secretive activities. Along the way, Nate found more signs of disturbance. A door that had been forced open, its ancient lock broken. Scratches and marks on the walls, where something heavy had been dragged. The rogue was clearly here, moving through the complex with purpose. Nate's instincts told him that the rogue was not far ahead. The signs were too fresh to be ignored. The escaped prisoner was likely guarding the lost item, and confronting them was necessary to complete this mission. So, now, here we are. This is the moment that I've been waiting for because I love combat. We can confront the rogue, we can scout the area, or we can set a trap. I'm definitely going to confront the rogue and set up a combat phase because, rumbling is the way to go. Hit the thing very hard is the way to go. So we are going to now do a combat phase. We're going to confront the rogue. Hopefully I don't lose my life. Hopefully the draws are in my favor, so that way I can go ahead and beat this guy, and we can go ahead and find out what secrets await us in this city. I'm going to scroll here for a second because I want to take a look really quick again when we are in the midst of combat. If I know when you beat a rogue, you actually when you beat a rook, you get to add points to your exploration or combat score. But when you go against another human, that is where it gets pretty dangerous, because if you take damage, that damage is pretty much there until you are able to be healed at another place. So just going to scroll out here and we're going to look together. So another person, remember we said we modify the combat, so that means their combat score is going to be 3 instead of 1. And I want to see the reward. Okay, your character has been inclined to reward. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get that situated, and we're going to go ahead and do a combat phase. So I'm going to take a quick second to take a bathroom break, and we are going to fight this rogue, get this item, return to the settlement, and get entrance into this city. We're going to find out the city name. We're going to actually create our city using the game's rulebook. So I'll have two cameras, one showing our screen still and one showing my face, along with the camera showing the creation of the city. We'll see how it all works out, and we're gonna have a good time. Alright, so give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay everyone, we are back. Now I have my camera set up here. I'm going to figure out where I want to place it at on the screen, and you'll see it when it's all done being edited. Here we have our deck, so that way we can see the cards being flipped. Maybe that'll give it a little more natural feel. And also when we are creating our cities and when we are fighting or battling against rooks or opponents, now we can go ahead and actually have a little more natural feeling with the cards going up against the other cards as they come out. So we'll play around and see how this feels and how it looks, and hopefully it's not too clunky on screen. And we're going to continue to play and have a good time. So now it is time for us to confront the rogue. We will be doing a combat phase. So I'm going to tell GBT, let's confront the rogue. Let's confront the rogue. I asked him why he is here in this place. Let's see. So, the confrontation. Nate followed the fresh footprints and signs of disturbance deeper into the complex. His grip tightened on his weapon as he prepared for a potential confrontation. The passage led to a large chamber, dimly lit by a few flickering torches that the rogue had evidently placed. In the center of the chamber stood the rogue guardian, a figure clad in tattered but once fine clothes. The rogue's eyes gleamed with a mix of defiance and desperation. The stolen amulet, a beautifully crafted piece with an emerald center, hung around his neck, glowing faintly in the dim light. Nate stepped into the chamber, his voice firm and commanding. "Why are you here in this place? What is your purpose?" The rogue turned to face Nate, their expression hardening. "Why am I here?" They echoed their voice, carrying a bitter edge. "I was once a respected member of that settlement, but they cast me out, labeled me a criminal for seeking the truth. This complex holds secrets they fear, and the amulet I took is the key." The rogue continued, gesturing around the chamber. "These ruins, this complex, it's part of something much larger. The ancient civilization that built this place had knowledge and power beyond our understanding. The settlement wants to keep it hidden, to control it, but I won't let them. I will uncover the secrets of this place, and I will use the knowledge to bring them down." Interesting, because if the settlement knows what's going on in this underwater complex, that means they are probably commissioned by the city that the settlement is allowing interest to. Maybe it's kind of like that book, The Ones Who Left Omelas or something like that, where the city's thriving, but it's only because one person is suffering. So maybe the city is thriving and it's doing so well because of some ancient secret that we have yet to uncover. I don't know. We will see. It says, Nate could see the rogue's conviction, but he also understood the dangers of unchecked ambition. "The settlement sent me to retrieve the amulet. They believe you are a threat, but if there is truth in your words, perhaps we can find another way. Hand over the amulet and we can discuss this." The rogue's eyes narrowed, their hand reaching for a weapon. "I'm not handing over anything without a fight. If you want the amulet, you'll have to take it from me." A tense silence filled the chamber as both combatants prepared for a showdown. The rogue, though desperate, was skilled and determined. Nate knew this would not be an easy fight, but he also knew that he would have to succeed for the sake of his mission. So now I'm going to go ahead and draw cards for my combat score, and we're going to do this battle phase, and we'll see what the results are, and we'll enter that into GPT. I will let you know the results of the combat phase that I will conduct in real life. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do our combat phase. So we see here our deck, and we know that if we look here, my combat score is still 3. Alright, so what we're going to do, we are going to look here, and we can also show the intentions of our opponent if they are a human or another person. Alright, now the thing is, he wants to battle me. We know that. So we're going to say that his intention is to kill us. Now, what we're going to do when I draw my 3 cards for my combat score, then we'll know if he has a ranged weapon or a melee weapon. So let's find that out now. So for my first combat score, huge, super huge, we have an Ace of Hearts. So that means that he is going to have a ranged weapon. Alright, so let's see what else I get. I got a 4 of clubs. Alright. And let's see what else I get. I get a 3 of hearts. So I'm not going to lie, I'm looking kind of weak here. I'm not going to lie. So let's go ahead and figure out how it's going to go down when he does his 3 attacks at me. Alright? Very scary here because I do not have a lot of strong cards, so I really need him to get a 2, a 3, or 4 so I can at least clash or crit. Ah, man, oh man. If he had a combat score of 1 like the rules generally say, this would be a lot easier, but this is the challenge that I've been looking for. So, here we go. The first attack that he throws at us, ooh, it's going to be a 5 of diamonds. I'm going to move these cards back. Hopefully they can still be seen. Or maybe I'll do it this way. I can just kind of overlay it instead. So, damn. He has a 5 of diamonds. So right now he is doing a creative attack against me. Yikes. Well, I'm just gonna have to take 1 damage here and combat that with my 3 of hearts. So his creative attack beat out my magic attack. Alright? That sucks. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking in my mind how he's actually going to be doing these creative attacks. Or defenses against my own combat attacks and defenses. So his next attack, let's see. Oh my goodness, I am not looking really good here. Not at all. Oh boy. Oh boy. So my only real option here is to use my ace, which is in my games I consider ace the strongest card. I consider ace the strongest card over a 10. So this will be 11 in my games. Some people use this as 1. I use it as 11. Ugh. Man, oh man. Because if he's using a clubs. So clubs is a weapon attack. He has a ranged weapon. So if I do my clubs here, that means I'm gonna lose this combat phase because he's winning the majority. Because it's 3s. So I have to win 2 attacks out of 3. Or I have to lose 2 attacks out of 3. This is not good. So I'm gonna put it on the last draw. I got lucky the last combat phase by getting 2 crits. But now this, oh man, I'm just gonna have to do it. So I'm gonna do another magic attack against his ranged attack to beat him. And now his last one, I really need him to get a 2, 3, or 4. Here we go. Oh, god damn it. A 7. Oh, he's doing a magic attack against my, this is clubs. This is against my weapon attack, so I did actually lose this combat phase. I'm not going to be able to get the amulet. This is not good. This is not good indeed. So let's go ahead and go back to GPT. Let's input this stuff and we can see how the battle played out. We know that he did a creative attack to beat me out. I did a magic attack to beat him out. And then finally he did a magic attack to finish me off this combat phase. So he beat me and I lost. So I'm going to be taking 2 damage here. I don't die, which is good. I do not die. But now we have to continue forth. So let's go ahead. And let's go ahead and first we're going to create an image. So I want you to create an image of Nate battling a rogue in a giant underwater complex. Here's the description. 8. And then I'll give it the description of the rogue as well. So let's go ahead and copy here. Description of Nate. Copy. Okay. Description of the rogue. He is battling. Oh my goodness, I lost. Oh my goodness. Okay, where is he? Alright. Says he's a figure clad in tattered but fine clothes. Alright, here he is. Oh man, I took an L. I lost 2 points. This is not looking good. Let me update that here, because I have a choice to make. Because right now, in total, I have 7 stats. Now in total, I'm going to have 5. I really don't like taking away from my combat score ever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 1 spirit so I can no longer use my fire magic. And we're going to take away 1 from our combat, our exploration score. Ugh. Alright, I think that's good. And if I didn't say it in the previous episodes, the 1 point in spirit that was going to be used just for flavor. I would have that as a kind of get out of jail free card, or maybe something special where if I did something maybe a little strong, I would have to take away from that score. As we go further in the books, that score is actually going to be used to give us either buffs or debuffs on our opponents. Okay, so we're going to take away from that, but that'll still hinder me because now I can't use fire magic. So stuff like how I used it to create a torch to light the way for while we're in this underground complex, I won't be able to do stuff like that, which will make the game a lot more interesting. Because in one playthrough, I got taken by some gargoyles, but I used my spirit attribute to actually be able to fly away on my own, right? Using my fire magic as thrusters. So, okay, that's cool. And I'm gonna turn off the camera now because we've done this. So this is good. This is good. Ugh. Okay, so with that being done, now we can go ahead and generate our image of our battle. Oh man, this reeks. And while we're generating that, I can go ahead and type in how the battle went down, and we can get a story out. So, okay, interesting how it made the rogue kind of small. I'm gonna say to regenerate that, actually, because I get it. It's I get what it was trying to do there, but I don't like how they made my image like kind of a giant. I kind of look like a giant. Ooh, don't like that one either. Don't like this one either, if I'm being honest. Let's regenerate it again. And I won't continue to like endlessly regenerate the image, but we do want to have a good one. So, and if I have to retype a new prompt, that's fine too. Yeah, I'm gonna retype a new prompt here. So we're gonna edit this, and we're going to add on to this. I want the 2 clashing weapons against each other. The rogue and Nate are roughly the same height. Okay, I think this will be better. Yeah, I think this will be better. Okay. So, give me a second here. I'll go ahead and enter this in, and we'll read our story. Okay, guys, we are back. I entered everything in the story, how I wanted it to unfold. It's right here, and I was able to get a good image from GPT. I actually like this image, this confrontation. So let's see the story on how it played out after losing this combat phase. Oh my goodness, the game has gotten much harder now. Here we go. The battle begins. Nate confronted the rogue in the dimly lit chamber, demanding answers and the return of the stolen amulet. The rogue, filled with defiance and bitterness, refused and prepared for a fight. With a swift motion, the rogue unleashed his ranged weapon, a staff that fired concentrated blasts of energy. He aimed at the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust and sand that quickly filled the chamber. The dust and the sand obscured Nate's vision, making it difficult for him to see. Seizing the opportunity, the rogue landed a clean hit, his energy blast striking Nate and causing him to stagger. Pain shot through Nate's side, but he gritted his teeth and prepared to counter. As the rogue prepared another attack, Nate summoned his Fire Rookstone's power, creating a shield of fire. The fiery barrier deflected the rogue's next strike and then surged forward as a field of flames, knocking the rogue back. For a moment, it seemed Nate had gained the upper hand. But the rogue had more tricks up its sleeve. Revealing his own magical abilities, he channeled rumble magic into the ground, causing it to shake violently. Nate, trying to be clever, leaped into the air to avoid the tremors and strike with his sword. The rogue, anticipating this move, placed his hands on the ground and summoned a pillar from the wall, which shot out and struck Nate midair. The force of the pillar knocked Nate unconscious. He fell to the ground, battered and bruised, his vision fading as he struggled to stay conscious. The last thing he heard was the rogue's mocking laughter. Nate lay on the cold floor, his body aching from the brutal fight. When he regained consciousness, he was alone in the chamber. The rogue was gone, having left to continue his research, confident that he wouldn't be bothered by any more pests. The fight had taken a severe toll on Nate. His spirit was shattered. His ability to explore was diminished. His new stats were exploration score of 2, combat score of 3, spirit score of 0. Despite the defeat, Nate's resolve remained. He knew he couldn't let the rogue succeed, and that he had to find a way to recover and continue his mission. The rogue's parting words echoed in Nate's mind. I don't know why the settlement thought they could send a random adventurer to stop me. It just goes to show their intelligence. Now I must continue my research. Hopefully I won't be bothered by any more pests. Nate must now decide how to proceed after this setback. Here are some options. So everyone, that is it for today's episode of our Colossal playthrough. The next time, I think I'm gonna have to think about if I want to go back to the settlement, maybe recuperate, or since I still have a combat score of 3, I may be battered and bruised up, but I may still have some fight in me where I can fight him again and actually beat him. Because his combat score is 3, my combat score is 3. It would take some time for us to leave the underground complex to go back on the water to do an exploration phase back to the settlement to recover, then to do another exploration phase to go back. And that time is passing. This guy is getting his research done. He's trying to uncover some secrets, and we don't know the potential dangers of this, whether it can be helpful or hurtful. But our mission is clear. We have to get this amulet. We have to give it back to the settlement. We have to get into the city so we can find out more about Parapet, more about the Dragon Rook, so we can stop the Black Army. So thank you for watching. I hope you have been enjoying this Colossal playthrough. Next episode, we're going to see what I decide to do, and we're going to have a good time. Let me know what you think down below in the comments and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.